You know there's a way for nurses to start a business, but there's so many moving pieces. Cut through the crap. It's time to go right to the source and get real about what's working in business and marketing for nurses with your host, the founder of NursePreneurs, Catie Harris.
Hi, it's Catie, and this is another episode of the NursePreneur podcast. And today I have Gracienne Jean Pierre, who is a nurse practitioner who works with women with cancer survivors, and those with chronic disease, taking control of their diagnosis. And she owns a company called JP Health and Wellness. So I'm really excited to have you on the show and hear all about this.
Oh, thank you so much, Catie, for inviting me. I want to say a big hello to all your listeners. My name is Gracienne Jean Pierre. I am a family nurse practitioner, integrative health and wellness coach, and I'm the owner of JP Health and Wellness. I work with women who either have chronic disease or cancer, transform their lifestyle so they could live a more healthier, vibrant life after their diagnosis.
Okay, so can you tell us, give us a little background about how you became a nurse and how your nursing career led you to where you are now?
So I graduated from high school, and I always wanted to be in the healthcare profession at a very early age because my father died of a stroke when I was really young. So I was exposed to a lot of the healthcare people coming in and out of our house. So I was so fascinated because they were always helping people. So needless to say, soon after I graduated high school, I went straight to nursing school, and I graduated pretty early. So I was a very young nurse. I started in the trauma unit, and it's such an adrenaline for me. And I was able to help people, but also see some really cool stuff. Then went into oncology, and that's when this light bulb opened. At that time, the seed was planted that there is something that needs to be done, because some of the patients we will treat and they will come back a few years later out of remission. And so I went back to school and got my nurse practitioner. And I ended up first in neurology, working in headache clinic, which is another place again that lifestyle play a big role. And being in the headache clinic and seeing patients suffering from the same thing over and over again, and kind of planted the seed. So after being in headache for 3 years, I went back to oncology, which was really what I love. And really, I find the same thing again. The patients were coming in after being treated, especially my focus was really breast cancer. So a lot of women will come in, they'll have treatment, and they go into remission. And our talk would be, okay, we'll see you in 3 months. And the question will be, what do I do? And most of the time, the woman really was serious. They didn't know where else to go. Their lifestyle was the same way it was before they were diagnosed. They want to do something, but they didn't know where to start. But, my journey wasn't there yet for me to tell them. So I would say, okay, you need to you need to follow with your primary care physician.
Yeah, like that's an answer, right?
Yeah.
The primary care is like, I don't know, you should follow up with your oncologist.
Yes. So after repeated occasion, I myself, I became sick, and I became in the other side of the puzzle where I was seeking my own answer. And where when something is planted in you, you are supposed to do it. Sometimes you have to be shaking up. And I had to look for my own answer, finding my own, like navigating the maze of the healthcare system. So that's when it's really dawned on me what my patients were going through.
Yeah, I think that's huge, because I think that's, a lot of businesses, they'll come out of a trade that you have, like you're a doctor, so you start a doctor clinic, or a dentist, so you start a dentist clinic, or it's an experience that you have, or a challenge that you've overcome that you've successfully achieved a result. And then if you can deconstruct that process, you could help others. So what is it that you do for your clients that you learned through your experience?
So to my experience, I felt like I was diagnosed with a GI. My GI system was just out of whack. I went to 4 different doctors. I was bouncing from one doctor to another doctor, and when I pay attention and start looking at not only my stomach but my whole body, what was the cause of I am here right now talking to this doctor? So that's when the light bulb was the light bulb moment. I need to change my lifestyle. I need to change everything. So what I do is I become a partner with my client to help them transform their life. And we focus on really what I call, from my training, 7 pillars of health, which is the nutrition, the environment, your sleep, your healing relationship, spirituality, movement, and resiliency. So we focus on those elements to switch things around. The same thing applies to the cancer patient who finished and is in remission. What do I do? Does she go back to the same lifestyle she had before, or do we change it?
Right. And I think that's a huge thing, because lifestyle changes is something that I'm huge on, because it's like the answer to every disease state. We always say, well, go do some lifestyle changes. And nobody's really broken that down for the patient. Like for me to go do lifestyle change, I don't even know what that means. Where do I start? And what do I do first? And so this is great. Can you tell us more about these 7 pillars?
Yeah, so first we focus on nutrition. So nutrition, so the way that my services start is usually I use the whole nursing, my nursing frame. We first meet the client and we go over things. We kind of take an inventory of their life. And usually some client will come and say, hey, I want to lose weight after my chemo, because most women think they're going to lose weight during treatment, but sometimes they gain weight. And after giving them that 7 area of health to look at, usually it's not the weight, it's their stress level, how they deal with stress. So we talked about sleep meaning are you getting enough sleep? Because sleep and oxidative stress, if your cells are not being rejuvenated, you are, and again, to have another get out of remission. We talk about movement, exercise. There's tons of literature out there. Exercise and breast cancer, decrease your weight, play a big role. Nutrition, eating non-processed nutrition food. Some people go back to the same habit they had before. Resiliency, how do you deal with the stress? Like some clients, during my being in the clinic, a lot of women, when they come in with breast cancer, they had either some traumatic event, something happened in their life, and now they have this. So do you go back to that same lifestyle? How are you going to handle the stress? So we address each element, and and the patient is the driver. They choose where they want, what pillar they want to work at first.
Yeah, and I think that's amazing, because usually when you go into any clinic or any physician's office, you get that questionnaire, like, do you have asthma? Do you have this, and you answer the same questions over and over, and then you get in there, and nobody actually talks about the stuff that you're talking about. And I feel like that's, the stuff that patients, one, really want to know the answer to, and 2, it's things that they don't think about until they leave the doctor's office or the provider's office, the nurse practitioner office. And then they're like, well, can I, how do I sleep? Or can I have sex that nobody wants to talk about? Or all these other things that are so much more important than, whether they had their gallbladder out 20 years ago,
So true. The whole thing, like you mentioned sex, that's the other thing. You have patients, they will see because I was a nurse practitioner in the oncology clinic, so sometimes they will see the physician so many times before they come to me. And here they are. And I'm like, did you talk to him about your sex life? Because it's causing major stress at home. What is the plan about it? And that's the number one issue with women after treatment. It's how do you go back to have a healthy sexual life?
Right.
And not to be able to discuss it with anybody. It's very painful. So that's where my zone of genius is. So I do a lot of sex classes and teaching about breast health and teaching about how to be engaged again, not, feel like you are a woman again.
Right. And I think that's really important too, because, and I know they don't do it intentionally, but you have that kind of white coat effect, and it's almost like, well, why would you have sex? Or it gets pushed to it's not that important. We're trying to save your life type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you come forward and say, you know what, it is important, and let's not minimize the importance of this in your life, I think that's really powerful.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like opening a floodgate, because then it's all the information come out, it's like peeling the layers of an oranges. Then you're like, wow, that's what your stress is coming from.
Right.
Not able to please your husband, or not able to do things with your kids because you're extremely tired. You don't feel the same way. You don't feel beautiful as you were before. A lot of teaching and guiding clients to go back to self-love.
So do you work with people one-on-one or in groups, or how do you work with clients?
I do a variety of offers. So I have group coaching, and I also have individual coaching. I also do a lot of workshop with women for breast health. A lot of time, we have a lot of research about how to treat cancer, but we don't have a lot of research how to prevent cancer. Now we have some coming out, but it wasn't the trend. So I really focus on prevention when I do my classes, especially help breast massages, the top vitamins you should be taking if you want a healthy breast. So I go into detail of how to look at the body as a whole, your emotional state, your stress, what do you do to relax? What do you do for your spirituality? So it's kind of looking at the whole body, mind, body, and spirit.
Do you have meditation apps that you recommend, or books, or do you do meditation?
I do meditate. All my coaching sessions start with a mind, a body function, like meditation, visualization, and also I have a list of things that I recommend to my clients about where to get free information about meditation and how to get it around their community. Because when you are in the setting, when you've been diagnosed with cancer or chronic disease, there's a lot of things going through the mind. You are confused. There's a lot of doctor's visit. So I kind of help my client navigate the healthcare system in some way, and teaching him the nuggets. This, you should be doing this, or you should be doing that. Because I let them be the driver, because I believe when a client takes the initiative themselves, the implementation is better than me telling them what to do. But if they ask me for my expert opinion, I would then give them the expert opinion and say, okay, this is how you should go about things.
Right. So it's more than just teaching them about lifestyle changes. I mean, you're kind of taking on a bigger role in their lives if you're helping them navigate the healthcare system as well.
Oh, yes, definitely. Because especially with my cancer patients, it's very difficult when you are diagnosed with a cancer diagnosis, with the financial, with the test, with the doctor's visit, where to go, and where's the best centers to go, which research is out there. I would do a service extra for them to research that part and help them.
So now this is this question, we'll see how it goes, but one of the things that I'm always curious about, especially when you're in a space like cancer, like these patients are already spending so much money, and you're offering a very valuable service, right? So I've had a lot of nurses say, they wouldn't want to charge cancer patients, and they're going to try and get grants and this kind of stuff. How have you designed this model so that it's, I guess, affordable for the patients, and what are your general feelings about that?
Yeah, see, my feelings is this way. I could help nobody, or I could help as much as I can. So I focus on doing a sliding scale and charging the patients that could afford it, are able to pay for it the right amount. because if I put it out there that I'm going to get grant, which is extremely difficult to get, then I don't help nobody. But if I have the patients that would pay the fee, then I'll work with them.
I think that's important too, that they are actually invested in what you're doing.
Yes, because if you give everything for free, then the person doesn't have anything in it for them, no driving factor. So at least they have to pay something. So we do sliding scales, and the people that could afford it and pay for it, then they pay the full price.
Yeah, I think it's important too, because you wouldn't be able to do this for them if you don't charge something. So we can't expect you to give up your life to
No, you have all the resources that you have to pay for, and education for you to keep up with the research, because cancer research change all the time. We have tons of drugs coming out. And also, the reason I start this whole journey is because myself, I was burned out. So I have to do self-care. I have to take care of myself. So to be able to help the group, you have to be able to satisfy you. You have to take care of yourself first too.
Yeah, I think that's a vital function. And I only brought it up because I think it's important, because I know as nurses, we have that need to do things for other people. And then, we feel bad charging people money because we're not used to that system of payment for services. It's not really ingrained in us the way it is in other healthcare professionals, but it's still something that's like, if you don't do it, you will burn out, and then you can't help anybody.
No, you cannot help anybody, because my goal is, first and foremost, is to make a difference, to impact people, to be able to be your own advocate for your own healthcare, and also to take responsibility of things in your life that need to be changed for you to be healthy. So if to do that, there is a price to be paid, and for the message to get out.
Now, I see on your website you have 3 different packages. What are these different packages, and how do them?
Yeah, so the first package is for someone that just diagnosed with cancer, that really need the hands-on, where we look at the whole picture, researching treatment plan and talking about the 7 pillars of health, because I believe I call it a way like cancer rehabilitation need to start just like when you just diagnose with the cancer, because you cannot wait and say after you're done you're going to start changing the way you sleep, changing your environment, getting toxic people out of your life so you can do what you need to do. So it starts right there. Then the second package is for the clients that's going through the process of treatment, dealing with side effects. There's a lot of natural medicine out there, natural element that you could use to help you, because like acupuncture, because the way I say integrative is we use other modality to help you with the side effect of the treatment. So that package, I do the coaching, I help you navigate the complementary health system out there, because you could be spending a lot of money getting things that are not going to do anything for what you're experiencing. So I help my clients kind of look at the big picture. Then after they become in remission, which is a third package, then we start really looking at the 7 pillars very directly, because we already start working on it. If you stay with me the whole time, then we start formulating a plan, how you're going to move forward, what type of vitamins. So you don't people spend a lot of money on vitamins and different things that aren't doing them no good. So I sit down with them, coming up, what is the top vitamins really you need at that time? Do you need to detox? What is detox for? And so we go into a lot of detail, and to keep them in remission, because that's the goal.
Now, you're a nurse practitioner, so you technically have the ability to diagnose and treat. Do you do any of that in your business?
you know, because of all the laws and stuff, as a coach, I don't need a supervising physician, but I do have one anyway, because it's such, you know, I could tell a client something and then it's become a medical recommendation. So I do give recommendation. I don't diagnose. I usually refer them back to their oncologist or their primary care physician. But if something persists, then I would either pick up the phone and have a talk with the oncologist or have a talk with the primary care physician to help them and formulate a plan.
Yeah, because, you know, especially with medical conditions, I feel like there's a fine line between coaching and
Definitely.
and
Yeah.
what patients hear anyway. You know, they'll be like, well, my
Yeah.
my coach said I need to do this.
Yes. So, and also that's the one thing I do. I tell them, I ask them for permission, because this is a relationship. Because the way I use my coaching is the patient is the driver. You know, it's more motivational questioning, asking question, getting you where you are. I would ask permission to them and said, hey, you know, I need to put my nurse practitioner hat on right now. Because, you know, if someone come in and say, hey, I want to lose 50 pounds in the time frame, I'm like, you know, let me put my nurse practitioner you know, and see if it's realistic here. Let's see where we could go with that.
Right. So how do you find your clients? How do they find you?
I'm fortunate enough to have a few oncologists that I train with or I work with that refer patients to me, which is really good. And also online, I do a lot of, I'm on Facebook. I have, and also have my webpage, web traffic. So if people need to find me, you could check me at www.jphealthandwellness.com and also on Facebook, JP Health and Wellness. And I'll be happy. I have a free 30 minutes consultation. You could click in there and I'll be happy to set you up and talk to you and see how I can help you. But a lot of my clients is either that I meet through the community and to meet online, doing a talk and doing webinar and letting them know there are services out there to help going through the chronic disease or cancer if you need the help.
And let me just ask you one question about the oncologists that you partner with. So they don't find, I guess, offense in that they're not doing what it is that you're doing, right? So they see your service as very valuable, but not impinging on, you know, well, we told them they had cancer and why do they need you type of thing, right?
Yeah, no, it's very, most of the oncologists that refer to me felt that it's a needed service that they don't have time because of the way healthcare is to give to the patient. There are cancer centers that do have an integrative oncology team that help clients go through that. But if you're an oncologist in a small town and you have a ton of patients to see, there's so much you could do. So having a service and partner with me to help with that, to meet that need it's a perfect match. That's one of the oncologists that I work with. He really liked it because he's in a set place where he does not have the opportunity where he has the extra services to offer the patient. Or sometimes the patient come up with a list of supplement that they want to take, and that could interfere with the chemo. So I have, as a nurse practitioner and also I have an oncology background, I'm able to decipher all that and say, I don't, you know, those are for later, not now.
Right. And supplements are the one thing that I feel like patients tend to hide or not tell you about,
Yes.
Especially the physician, you know, especially when they go into the hospital or something, they forget to tell you that they're on like these 20 supplements and
yes. And also they what I found is some oncologists, because I think sometimes because they don't have they don't know, so they would tell you plain that this will interfere with the chemotherapy, and some of them really will, and patients have to be careful. And also we have a lot of complementary care that really help, like massage, music therapy, acupuncture. All those things help while you go to treatment. But patients, the doctor don't have time to go into detail with all this. So having the help, they welcome it.
Yeah, no, definitely when you're scheduled every 15 minutes, you really can't talk about the chemo and all the complementary stuff that you could possibly do. It's just
Yeah, it takes a lot of time because being in the other side of the coin, it is not easy. And oncology is not an easy field to, because you deal with death and dying every day and you just need to keep moving.
so. Do you have anything around death and dying for your patients, or is that something that you've thought about?
Yes, we do talk about it under spirituality. And under that component, if a patient wants to talk about that, we really go deep into talking about and going through the grieving process, preparing the family. And sometimes I would have the family members come into the session. For example, if a husband want to come, if the wife is having difficulty with self-image after treatment, because sometimes the woman is making a big deal about their body and the husband don't see anything wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And with your packages, is this like, do you meet with them once a week, once a month, or do you just put a series together, or how does that work?
I do a 3 month. I tell clients it takes 3 months to make any kind of change. Those are people that are in remission. So we start 3 months, but people that are in a long cancer treatment, sometimes some client will just keep on signing up every 3 months, but I advise them to do 3 months. We meet every 2 weeks, depending if they want to go every week, we do that too. And I support them to email. I check on them. If I know they're going to go to get treatment, I check on them too to make sure things are going okay. They are doing okay with their goal and what they want to accomplish that week. So it's I'm their partner throughout that journey to help them as much to help guide them as much as they want me. If they want me to back off, I back off too.
And where are you located?
Currently, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I do most of my work online. So most of my coaching sessions are online. Some clients come to have a share space with another nurse practitioner. So some clients come in office, but most of the time we work online.
Okay. This is absolutely amazing. So what is your plan for scaling this, or how are you going to duplicate yourself?
How do you duplicate myself? So I really have big vision for this because, as you know, coaching people, it takes a lot of energy, a lot of, to serve people, it's a lot, and I enjoy it. And what I want to do is eventually create some kind of a course where, especially for patients that are in remission, like they could go in their own time, go online, click the course. I'll be there for support if needed, and they could do it through like that part. Patients that really need the one-on-one, which is the newly diagnosed, then that's for sure I'll still be available to do it that way. My hope is that I would find other nurse practitioner that is in the oncology space that they want to do something like that, because I think not only with oncology, I think with chronic disease, which is another part of my programs, that I think it's needed. When you have people that are pre-diabetic and they don't even know it, and to change their lifestyle is it's amazing things that you could do.
Right. Yeah, no, this is absolutely amazing. I applaud you in doing this. This is incredible, and what you're offering is so needed. It's so important. So, thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much, Catie, and I appreciate you for having me on because, it is, being an entrepreneur and being a nurse, like you said, having that warm heart and want to help everybody. It sometimes could be, that's why I have my husband. He's like the business side of it. Keep me straight because you want to help everybody, but to help, you cannot help everybody. You have to help, and to be able to help as much as you can, but it's just
Right. That's what I tell my nurses. I'm like, make lots of money and then you can start scholarshiping people into your program, but
yes,
you got to get the money in first.
You have to get the money in first, and that's a mindset, believe me, I had to work on, because as an oncology nurse, I saw the burden of cancer costs. And I had to really change my mindset. This is, who am I to not offer the service because I'm thinking people cannot afford it?
Right.
Yeah. So, because, and once I was out there and I saw people was interested and it's interested in the service, I'm like, wait a minute, I was wrong.
All right, Gracienne, so tell us again how we can find you.
You could read my Facebook page is jphealthandwellness.com, and also my website is www.jphealthandwellness.com. Stress, I have a nice little ebook, so if you go and want to get some more information about me or set up a session just out of curiosity, just to talk, if you're a nurse and want to do something like that, be happy to do so. Thank you so much again, Catie, for having me here with you and sharing this space. I'm truly grateful.
Absolutely. And I will put your website and your Facebook page in the show notes so people can find you. And again, thank you so much for what you're doing.
Thank you. You have a beautiful day.